Hi, welcome back to this video on Windows Azure storage options. So in my previous video I explained about how to create a storage account and then how to create an application and use one of the storage option that is available inside your Windows Azure. So of course Windows Azure gives a lot of options for structured and unstructured data storage. We saw about different types of options like blobs, tables, queues, and if you are going to go for relational structured storage, then you can go for SQL Azure account. Okay, so to work with any of these blobs, queues or tables, first of all you have to create a storage account inside your Windows Azure portal, and then once you have done that, then you have to install the required DLLs. So we saw that we need to install the Windows Azure.storage DLL, and then we have to add reference to certain files, packages like storage.blob and then storage.auth. Okay, so some of these references we have storage.client, service runtime. So all these references we have to include in our application. So after doing these two steps of creating a storage account and then adding the references and then installing the DLL file, then what we can go is we will create a container, because all your blob, whatever image you are creating, it has to whatever image you want to store it inside your Windows Azure storage account has to be placed in a container. Okay, so every storage account will have one or more containers, and the capacity of a storage account is 200 terabytes. So we went ahead and created one container. It was called as my images container, and within the container we had we placed some images. We picked the images from my from the physical device, and then we placed it inside the container. Okay, now we also saw about if you want to access all these images, if you want to display these images, you have to access through the endpoints. Okay, maybe later after finishing this video, during the end of this video session, I will also go through that, how to access those images, how you can refer to those images through the endpoint. Okay, the most important thing is when you are doing when you are placing some data in your SQL server, you need a connection string. Okay, from your application to the SQL server, you will do a connection string. The same thing you will be creating here, wherein you have to have a connection string from your application to the storage account. Now in my previous demo we saw a connection string to a storage emulator. So what is a storage emulator? It is like it simulates your Windows Azure storage account. Okay, so instead of every time you want to store your data into the Windows Azure storage account, you can use your storage emulator for testing. So for that we saw how to do the connection string. Now once you are very satisfied with the Windows with your storage emulator, then you can go ahead and create a connection string between your Windows Azure storage option and then your application. So we will go ahead with how to do the connection string between the Windows Azure storage portal and your application. So initially we saw about how to do the connection string here. Just click here, and if you want to connect your application to the storage emulator, just choose Windows Azure storage emulator. But if you want to use the other option of choosing your Windows Azure portal for doing the connections, then you can go for manually entered credentials. Okay, so just go ahead and select manually entered credentials, and this manually entered credentials requires two data here. One is the account name and the other is the account key. So where you can get this account name and account key? Account name refers to my storage account name, and account key is once you create the account name, your Windows Azure portal will create a key for you. Okay, so we will go ahead to my Windows Azure portal here. So inside the Windows Azure portal, I have I'll just go to the storage account. So once I select the storage account, click on manage access key, and when you click on manage access key, you can find the account name. It's WA Darni storage account. Just copy the account name and place it. So just to avoid any spelling typo errors, I'm just copying and pasting it here. And similarly, you can go to the primary access key and then copy the primary access key and paste it here. So I've copied the account name as well as the account key and just click on OK. Now when I copy the account name and the account key, you can see here there are some information that has been added and it creates a connection string for me automatically. The three important data that you have to give is, if you are going to do it manually, you have to define the protocol, what protocol you are using, whether it is HTTP, HTTPS or some other endpoints, you can define it here. And the account name, which is my WA Darni storage account, which is a storage account that I created, and then the account key that my Windows Azure generated for me. So once I have done this I've created a connection string and then just give OK. Now you can take the help of Visual Studio, or if you want to hard code it by yourself, you can hard code the connection string. So after I have done this, now what I will do is I will run my application. Now this time when I run my application, where will my data be stored? It will be stored inside my storage account inside the Windows Azure portal. So now I will run my application and I will go to my okay, so here I will just go to the URL where I have my image upload. So enter here, and there I have my and there you go, I have my image home upload here. So I can choose any file from my device, my laptop. So I just select this particular image from my laptop and then upload it. So you can see my image gets uploaded. Now where my image is stored, it's inside my Windows Azure storage portal. So I will go ahead and choose another image, maybe this image. I will just choose it and upload it. Okay, so again my image gets uploaded and this image is where it has been stored, is inside my storage account. So let's go ahead and check whether it is there inside the storage account. So go to your Windows Azure storage portal and click on the storage account, and there you have containers, because I already told you, right, any image, if you want to save it inside your Windows Azure storage account, first you have to have a container created, and within the container all the images will be saved. So inside my storage account I have one container which is my images. We will go ahead and check whether we have the container. Yes, we have the container, my images. So now I will go and click on the my images container. Can you see two images has been added here, light and JPG. Okay, so this is how you will add all the images to your Windows Azure storage account. In my previous demo we saw how to add images to the storage emulator. It's just one difference that you give your connection string to the storage emulator, and now when you want to store everything inside the Windows Azure storage portal, change the connection string to the storage account. Okay, so I think so now you would be very clear about how to have a connection string between the storage emulator and the storage account. Okay, so thank you for watching this video. In my next video I will go ahead, I will explain about how to publish a Windows Azure application, and then how to access an image using the endpoints. So if you have any feedbacks or any queries or any suggestions, you can always mail to my email ID or post it in my blogs. Thank you.